All right, we're back. If you remember the last video, we recorded some profiles on a bracket that was a casting with some odd curves and shapes and counterbores and whatnot. So let's see what we can do with the data and ways you can use it. So first off, whenever you save a file, you'll get both, if you choose a CSV file, which is a representation of all the data, you know, all the X, Y, Z coordinates are saved into a manner in which you can use them. It also saves the angle of the line and some other data depending on whether it's a diameter or a side edge or a segment of a perimeter tracing. So the CSVs are useful for certain applications. And then we've also got the DXFs, which you can open in a couple of different programs. One I like to use a lot is Vectric vCarve. So you can pull that data right in easy and work with it. And again, the layer info, the colors that you set on the file when you're recording, the names, those are all there. So you can work with that data direct. Lightburn is another program I like to use, so that you may find yourself, if you record the files on one application and you want to laser cut or engrave with it instead, you can use it in Lightburn as pretty easily. But most people are probably interested in how do you get it to be a decent CAD model. So let's take a look at some of the steps you do in Fusion here. So I got a brand new blank file here. The first thing you'll do is go and insert a DXF, and you want to put it on a plane. So let's, for the top, put it on the XY. Got to pick your sketch. And we'll grab the top profile first. And it's as easy as that. The data's come in, and again, you remember we referenced such that the center line of the part was zeroed, so that's where it's coming in relative to the coordinate system. And again, you get to pick all the separate layers. If you created layers in your file, each one can be selected separately, brought in if you want it to be brought in or not. You can tell it if you want all the layers to be separated or combined into one. So again, you could select each layer goes to a different sketch. I'll just keep them all on one. And say OK to that, and there's your data there. So the other profile we have is a side profile. So let's put that onto that plane there. Pick that file as the side. And that one got flipped around from how we'd want it to be oriented. Let's see if I can be smart enough to flip that around. And what I'll probably have to do is just rotate that about. So we've got our two sketches in, and now is when you start working with them. Again, a couple of things to show. All the data, everything comes in as little line segments. You will get faceted parts. that show those line segments. One thing you can do is say if you go back to vcarve and you take your data set that represents the profile, and in a program like this you can do something quick and easy to do a curve fit as say Bezier curves. And there I kept it too tight. And if we're not real critical, this is a rough casting, so if we say plus or minus 5 thou on that, it'll be quite a bit smoother. There we go. Got to do it right. So then you could take this, export that as another DXF. Just call it smoothed. Now if we come back here and insert our DXF again, we'll pick the smoothed file. And again, we got to tell it to put it on a plane. And as you can see, that the origin is lost when it comes out of vcarve, but you get a much smoother file that, if you look at it, so we'll get rid of the smooth sketch. We won't work with that one. Now we'll just go ahead and try to maneuver some of this stuff around. So this sketch, try to do a rotation. And axis. We need a sketch line on the origin. And a quick sketch. And you'll have to bear with me. I am not a CAD person by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm going to fumble around quite a bit with this. Turn that into a construction line. If we go back and grab our sketch, we got to get out of this sketch first, don't we? Finish that one. Take all of that. Let's try to do a rotation. About that axis. Do a 180. There we go. So that gets our data where we wanted it to be, offset from the origin by its width. All right, with that flipped around, then we'll go ahead and do an extrusion. Grab go in, clean up the sketch just a tiny bit. Do a couple of trims and extend on a broken joint. There we go. Now we got a closed up sketch. We can grab that, extrude it. Start from an object. And extent to an object. There we go. Let's project that onto the set sides that we had recorded. We'll turn back on our top. And we'll extrude our bores in. Going to do a cut. Go down to the bottom surface. Grab the two counter bores. Do a cut to an object so we don't have to had it picked up a second ago. I lose it. There we go. So that sets our depth without having to measure anything. Gotta put our body back. Cut those. Those are good. And our final bores. We're gonna cut those out. Body back. Go to base plane. So that's pretty much it. That's how quickly you can take some geometry record out of a ProbeIt and transfer it back into a solid model with importing a DXF, doing some minor cleanup and a couple of extrusions. So hope you found that useful. It's I'm by no means a CAD expert, so I know it was painful to watch me fumble around, but thanks for watching.